guys that are new here, my name is Kerry. OGs and homies, I hope everybody is doing well. We're going to be doing a little bit, something a little bit different today on the channel. I'm hoping that we will be doing more of these kind of streams in the near future. So today's video, from Doom to Bloom, Toxic Tarot. So I've got with me on the phone, I've got Ralph. Some of you guys know Ralph has been a moderator on my channel for quite some time. Ralph's been, I think, on the channel probably about a year and a half, year and a half, Ralph? About that? Yeah, let me just, I just want to make sure. Hey, Ralph, can you just, Lena, hey, Lena, how beautiful. Lena, I'm just going to get Ralph to just do a bit of a mic check because, again, I've got him on the phone, so I just want to make sure you guys can actually hear Ralph. So, Ralph, if you can just say hi to Lena.
What up, Lena?
And, Lena, if you could just let me know how the sound is with that. That's about as loud as I can go on this phone at the moment, but hopefully that was good enough that Lena can hear you. All right, beautiful. Good stuff. All right, so again, like I was saying, Ralph has been a mod on the channel pretty much a few months after he arrived in the chats. Now, just a bit of backstory. Ralph, just so that we know, how many channels at the peak were you moderating for when you were really sort of tied up in the tarot community?
I would say, to be honest, about 7 or 8.
Yep.
And I remember you mentioning the phrase mod whore one time.
Mod whore?
Yeah. And I was like, wait, am I a mod whore? It's like, no, I can't be. But then, you wake up to reality and you're like, why am I doing this?
Yep.
So.
All right, guys, we've got a whole bunch of questions that I've got written down here at the end of this little interview that we're doing with Ralph. If you guys have got any questions that you guys want me to ask Ralph, feel free to drop those in the chats. Feel free to drop them in the chats actually at any point if you've got any further extended questions on some of the ones that I've got for Ralph. But let's get into the stream and get into the message here that we're trying to give. So some of you guys know, I've talked a lot about toxic tarot and getting caught up in the cycle of karmic tarot reads, and again, reads that keep you very much stuck in the past, looking at past situations, or constantly keep you wondering about what past energies are up to and doing. A lot of that energy, for those of you guys that aren't aware of it, again, where you put your attention is again where all that energy flows. So again, when we're putting in attention into things that we actually don't want to know about, don't want to manifest, don't want to deal with, they actually become amplified. So this is where it's like, again, really important that when you're engaging with tarot, whether that be as a reader or as a viewer, all right, that you're very mindful about the intentions behind the reads, the intentions of the reader as well, okay, and whether these channels are actually giving you guidance and helping you to move forward, or whether these are the actual energies that are keeping you stuck and trapped in cycles. So let's get into the first question, Ralph. What patterns have you noticed people get into who heavily rely on or engage with tarot readings online? So like, obviously, again, we form different patterns when we engage with certain content. So what have you noticed either within yourself, patterns, or within the people around you?
Well, definitely the word that comes to mind is stuck.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in the past, and I will admit that. But some of the few things that I noticed is you see the same people. Same people come on the channel, trying to get answers. Sometimes they would, even do super chats to try to get their, questions across. They would type their situation. They would bounce from channel to channel asking, the same question.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, do you tend to find that you see the same people in the same types of channels? You know what I mean? Like jumping from channel to channel, basically asking reader upon reader the same thing over and over.
Oh yeah, they're fishing for answers.
Yeah.
But not the answer that they need, the answer that they want to hear.
Yes, because of course, obviously, if you're satisfied with answer, you'll take that answer and action it. But obviously, they're not getting what they want out of the situation. Is that what you're trying to say?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the same people over and over asking, things like, will he come back? It's just same regurgitated questions.
Yeah.
Are they thinking of me? But then they'll also say, like, he's an ass, he cheated. Guys will be like, she cheated. It's like, at that point, do you really want them back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, everybody's situation is different, so I'm not in their shoes.
Yeah.
But it is the same questions over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. So we tend to find, the pattern being that people get stuck on asking the same things over and over. Do you think as well that when you start to engage with these readings, because they are repeat, because the stories are repeat, again, if a reader is reading only love stories for a particular sign, then of course, again, you're going to keep getting the same stories over and over. So do you think that some of the patterning is actually programmed from the actual reads itself into the viewer?
Part of me feels like some of these readers will definitely repeat the same story over and over and over to kind of hook people into viewing every week, or when they go on twice a week. It's the same story.
Yep.
They're coming back. They feel sorry. They don't know how to apologize. They don't know how to reach out. Don't worry. Soon.
Yeah.
But they never come back, because guess what? A year later, they're still asking the same question. Is he coming back? Is he thinking of me? Is she coming back? Is she thinking of me?
Yeah. Yeah. So the pattern I think that the common pattern we can find in a lot of these people is the same thing, becoming stuck because of the content. All right, let's get on to the next question. Have you ever felt like readings have held you back instead of pushing you forward? And if so, how or why did they hold you back?
Me personally, the whole jumping from channel to channel, in the beginning, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what resonated, because if something didn't feel like it resonated, guess what? Just hop on the next channel.
Yeah. Find your validation elsewhere, basically go to the next place to find your validation.
Mm-hmm. And that kept me stuck. I worked from home, and I would watch tarot, while I was working, because, I wasn't on the phones or anything. I was just doing my work. But I would also get, distracted from watching tarot. And then, obviously making friends. And then eventually it turned into, oh, he's always on here and he's interacting with people. Let's make him a moderator. And I was a moderator in some popular channels, some not so popular channels. But again, it's a community that you see the same people over and over, and they just don't change their story.
Yeah.
I decided that I needed to change my story, and eventually just started tapering off and found your channel. And it was like a breath of fresh air. It was, Carrie's actually trying to help people and lack for a better word, slap people and wake them up.
Yeah. So in regards to actual content, when it comes to readings, when you were engaged in watching readings, did you feel like the content or the context of what the readers were reading about was things that were keeping you held back instead of you again moving forward or moving on from things? So like obviously if it was readings about information or things from the past, was that were you getting caught up in listening to that information and focusing more so on what had already happened as opposed to what you needed to be doing moving forward?
In the beginning, it was definitely like that. It was, oh, I wish they come back, or maybe they're thinking of me. I was going through a dark time in my life. And, there's only so much your friends can tell you, but they're not in your shoes, so you're the one having to deal with the repercussions of, a failed marriage or a failed relationship. And without actually physically going to a therapist, a lot of people, such as myself, was using tarot as therapy, and you guys aren't,
we're not therapists.
There's even a channel called My Tarotist. I didn't mod for her, by the way. But that's the problem, is I was stuck. It held me back. I was watching these readers, say the same things over and over, week after week. That, everything is going to be better. Everything's going to be better. Everything's going to be better. But until I actually realized that I control that and not the tarot reader, that's when things started to change in my life.
Yeah. So it was when you actually started taking control and taking action, as opposed to listening to what, again, like listening to what is coming, doesn't just land in your lap. Again, when we're talking about predictive tarot in particular, predictive tarot is a potential outcome. Think of it like that. Think of predictive tarot as a potential outcome as opposed to a fixed outcome, because, again, we still have to engage with that energy to actually create that in the physical aspect, and I think that's what a lot of people get confused on is, again, like if you don't take the action, the manifestation never actually takes place, because it's the action that brings it into the third dimension, right? And it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's love, money, a career, whatever we're talking about. Again, there are again, laws of the universe, things like that. All right, let's have a look at question number 3. So when you were engaged in tarot readings heavily, what do you feel you were seeking? And now when you look back and reflect on it, was it like confirmation? Was it validation? Like, what was it that you were looking for? I know you said previously that you were looking for answers, but let's get a little bit deeper into what that actually means, right? Because again, everybody's out here looking for answers, and there's reasons as to why you're looking for answers. Again, for a lot of it, it could be not trusting your own intuition or not trusting your own judgment. Like I said, validation, confirmation. So for you, Ralph, in particular, what was it that exactly you were looking for when you came to tarot, and what did you think you were getting out of it when you were there?
I think for at least in the early time of me watching tarot, it was definitely answers and guidance. It was a hard reality of everything in my life felt like it was just crumbling down, like a tower moment. And it was hard. I wanted at least some sort of guidance, and like I said earlier, your friends are there. Your family is there to give you, their quote unquote words of wisdom. But I was fishing. I was fishing for answers, and I thought, from a spiritual aspect of things, I thought those answers might be, I guess, beneficial.
Yeah.
So there was only so much that, I was one ear out the other with some of the advice that my friends were giving me, some of the advice that my family was giving me. So I went to, tarot, the spiritual aspect of trying to figure out what the hell is going on with my life and why are things, I guess, crumbling.
Now looking back, do you feel like you got what you needed at the time from that content, or did it create further confusion for you?
Oh, it definitely created further confusion, because I was watching so much tarot that it got to the point where you would hear these tarot readers say, "Don't worry, it's coming next week. I'll wait next week. Hasn't come yet." And I'm like, okay, well, maybe the energy's changed. Maybe it's not my story. So I would watch them again. It's until I realized that I was the author and I was in control of my life that things started to, I guess, move in a better direction.
Yep. Cool.
but
All right.
I was definitely stuck.
Beautiful. All right. So, my next question is, what are some steps or actions that you would recommend for anyone who's caught up in the toxic tarot loop?
I would say take a look at yourself in the mirror and just take that deep breath and just realize that sometimes tarot can be addictive.
I was about to
Just
say.
like, your favorite, like your favorite television show or a movie you can watch over and over. It's, for the most part, a lot of the channels out there, it should be just labeled as entertainment.
Yep.
And then there are disclaimers for that. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. Some people, say if it doesn't resonate, chuck it in the F it bucket. And yeah, we should not take everything literally.
Yeah.
It should be with a grain of salt. But again, I guess some people it's because it's free. YouTube tarot is free unless you're paying for an actual reading where, the reader, the intuitive, the psychic is actually, on a one-on-one basis. And you honestly read for an entire collective, like everyone in the universe, that's of that sign. Obviously, it's not going to resonate with everyone. That's a given. But if it's your story, then hey, so be it. All power to you. I'm glad that's your story because you might get something from it. But again, I feel like the ones that I guess read that are more, hey, look out for this, hey, be mindful of this, actually trying to give solid advice to people. Those are the ones that I feel should and deserve a channel. But when it comes to the ones out there, then they're out there on TikTok, YouTube. You can tell they're just trying to make a buck. And it's kind of sad because they prey on people who have been hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt really bad too, where, they need professional help.
Yeah.
But, some of these readers are just like, oh, money. And that's where it becomes like, nah.
Yeah.
That's
so
wrong.
when it came time for you to take that step back, what did you do? Like, what steps did you take? Did you introduce something new into your routine to fill up that time? Because again, if we are talking about the addictive factor as well being present here in this, and I've seen it with a lot of people. I mean, I've had people on my channel where we've talked about the fact that they're channel jumpers and that they know that it's an addiction. So what did you do did you replace it with anything? Did you just literally switch it off?
I didn't switch it off right away. I found manifestation videos.
Yeah. So you switched out your content.
Correct. I had to switch content because I knew that my life wasn't moving forward. So guess what? I went down the self-help route. There's creators out there, authors like Mel Robbins, that I was watching to not necessarily get away from, tarot, but just for, I guess, educational purposes, trying to find a different route because I felt like I was losing it. Like if you're doing something, the definition of insanity, doing something over and over and expecting a different result, then, that's the definition of insanity. But I had to do something else. And once I learned about, manifestation and, a couple self-help channels, it kind of woke me up.
Yep.
Into why am I wasting my time moderating for channels? That's my time, my effort for channels that I'm not even listening to the reading. I'm just hanging out with the collective.
Yeah.
joking around.
So
And you know
essentially,
me.
yeah, essentially you were just pouring out energy and effort and time into other people, other people's projects and profits.
Correct.
Okay. Now, my other question I want to ask, still sort of on this topic. So again, so one of the steps you took was to switch out the type of content. In regards to again that disconnecting from watching repeat reads and things like that, and then moving into something else. How important is discipline?
Very important. Um, I'm still working on that myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, do you get
but
tempted?
you
Do you
just
get tempted to go back and at times where there is confusion or being that obviously you and I are obviously friends off of my channel. You and I conversate, so I know at the moment there's things going on in your life that you didn't quite expect, for instance, or things not going quite to plan. And although you and I both understand on a spiritual level what's happening within your realm, when you have moments where things go a little bit left,
not my way.
yeah, do you find yourself gravitating back towards that sort of energy, those reads, or any of those channels?
So I don't go to a lot of channels anymore.
Yeah,
If I feel like things aren't necessarily going as planned, which you and I know, well, the universe has plans for us, and we can't dictate timing.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll find myself, hopping on a Virgo only channel.
yeah,
So I'll do that, while I'm driving somewhere or if I have downtime. But that's rare now compared to before.
yeah,
I think if anything, I'll just, take a deep breath, meditate a little bit, and just try to stay positive.
yeah,
Knowing that, like you taught me, when one door closes, another one opens. Sometimes you gotta shut that door
yeah,
yourself, because, there's a lot of people out there who do take our energy, who aren't necessarily good for us. But you just gotta shut the door. And that goes for, for work. If you're unhappy in your job, trust that the universe has something better for you.
yeah. All right, next question. What changes and improvements have you noticed since you stopped engaging with the content?
Time.
Time?
Definitely more time.
Time. And look,
More
time is definitely one of those things we can't get back, we can't buy back, we can't recreate it. So time's definitely an important one. But what else have you noticed?
Less stress. The people who channel jump, like I said earlier, they talk about their drama, their lives, and I don't know, just like a soap opera. Sometimes you get hooked, because at some point I didn't want to even listen to the reading. I wanted to know what's going on with people's lives. It was interesting. It's like people watching.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever done that. Just sit at a park and just people watch. And
listen, I'm not gonna say that I don't. I do it every Saturday. I do it every Saturday when I go do my grocery shopping and I have my lunch. I sit down and I eat my lunch and I people watch at my local mall. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so as far as what it's given me, it's given me time to really focus on what I need to do to become that better person. And it's weird because we talk about, the tarot, the energies, and then sometimes, hey, you're going to meet someone new, and that's going to be your person. And yeah, you kind of take that with a grain of salt. But for me, it was really working on myself and not even worrying about the money, not worrying about the love life, not worrying about anything. Just, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And just knowing that I had to work on myself, and I actually, had to really get that confidence back. And I think that's what a lot of people are lacking is, am I good enough? It's like, no, we're all good enough. You just have to see it. You have to believe it. And guess what? If you already are in the vibration of, I have it already, it's wonderful, it's a good feeling, then everything would just fall into place like magic.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
So
as far as when it comes to like opportunities, finance, connections, things like that, did you notice that there were more improvements as you became more actually active in your life as opposed to being a passive viewer of your life on tarot?
Oh yeah, 100%. If you sit down and watch tarot for hours and hours and hours a day, nothing's gonna happen. You're just gonna watch the story. It's just like being a couch potato. That's what the Americans call it when you sit down and just watch TV all day. You turn into a couch potato. So I felt like that's what was happening. I was gaining weight, not walking around like I used to, exercising, things like that. I stopped doing all those things because I was so involved in the tarot community.
Yeah.
And that to me was it was toxic. And I that word is always thrown around, but it wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. And so in regards to some of the connections that you'd formed through some of these channels, have you disconnected, or have you found that you've needed to disconnect from the individuals? Because, again, like I very rarely watch anything. And if I do, there's only a couple of channels that I watch that are more about growth than they are about past stuff. But did you find that, or have you found that you've had to disconnect from friendships or connections that you'd made from some of those channels? Like I know me personally, like obviously, yes, you're my moderator, but again, you don't spend a lot of time. Most of my mods don't actually spend a lot of time in reads. A lot of us, though, are connected outside of my channel. And so we've all got that same sort of mindset of, we tap in and we check in when we need to get a bit of guidance, but then we take that and we work with that until, we've leveled that up, and then, we look at what's next. But we're able to maintain those connections, even though this is the space that we've met in. We've been able to maintain those connections because together we've all kind of, moved out of that toxic tarot space and the clique, the clique mentality. Some of you guys that have been on my channel know that, even in other channels, there's a lot of clique mentality, right? And, me personally, like I had friendships and dynamics and things that spanned across this platform, which for me personally, like I had to cut, almost 98% of those connections as well, because I was finding that these are people that were, again, spending time all day on tarot channels, all modding for each other, all this, and no one was actually working on anything to get ahead, and I guess for me being, a Leo as well, and again, this is my destined path to be a guide to others, it's important for me to practice what I preach and to lead by example. So for me, it was, about, I couldn't just sit around and just hang out with, tarot friends, you know what I mean, like on the phone and chatting and shit. Like it was just, it became very, very consuming. And so I found that as soon as I disconnected from any of those energies that were caught up in those dynamics, that I got a lot of time back in my life as well. I noticed that as well, time, a lot more peace, and spirit very much guiding me away from reading for or engaging with any of those toxic stories. I still pick up and I still channel energy from a lot of those toxic stories, but it's not the main focal point. Spirit don't give me that as the main focal point. And I guess that's, I'm lucky in that sense that, I'm not just downloading, but it's intention as well, the intention that you and I have set to sort of step away from certain energies and things like that. You do notice the difference. And again, your energy can go into other things. I mean, for you, again, you've been working on your stability and again putting things into place that set you up for your future. And I've had that time to rearrange, in the present moment, which has been really, really good and what I've needed. So I think, yeah, it definitely, you definitely notice your mindset change when you start to disengage from that. I've also noticed as well, not having like cortisol spikes and not having moments of again, like anxiety and adrenaline rushes from, again, like some of the information that comes out in some of these reads. I can imagine that some people sit there and listen to some of the info feeling quite panicked because some of the I don't know if you've noticed, some of the readings, Ralph, seem so fucking theatrical. Like you couldn't even make a movie that is as dramatic, And I think, like you said, very, very Days of Our Lives, it's like watching a soap opera sometimes on these things. So it definitely gives you time. I think it's important that, if any of you guys can identify that you've got an actual addiction to tarot, that you try to, start by replacing that with something that's healthy and beneficial. For some people, like, it'll be like going to the gym or whatever, but it's, if you are somebody that struggles with addictive behavior, then, have a plan as to what's going to fill your time or what you're going to use that energy for, that now you're no longer engaging in that type of content. So, Ralph, anything else that you would like to share that you feel is relevant to what we're talking about here today?
So, for me, I had to learn that first things first, even though someone can read the cards and read the meanings of the cards and even educate about the meaning of the cards, it doesn't mean that they're intuitive. Anyone can memorize cards and what they mean, but that doesn't mean that they're intuitive. Being a moderator for a bunch of these channels, you get to know the readers, and you interact with them outside of the channel, via Instagram or whatever, platform. I got to know some of these readers, like on a personal level, when it came to, what's going on in their life. And as their moderator, I'll hop on the channel when they go live, and I'm like, wait, that's their story. How it doesn't make sense. Obviously, I didn't say anything, but it was a pattern.
Yeah.
So I want the collective to know, just to be mindful of that sometimes they're not intuitive, and sometimes they're just reading their own life, because in a sense, maybe that YouTube channel is their therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just a lot of the times, go with your gut. That's why we have it. If something feels off, then maybe it's off.
Yeah. So one thing I will ask. So when it comes to the viewers, if they are going to engage in or watch tarot, what do you recommend, or what do you suggest?
If the story doesn't change and it's over and over and over, it's probably not a good idea to watch that channel. And don't get me wrong, I've channel jumped plenty of times to look for someone that resonates. That is a pattern. That is a pattern of you're trying to seek answers. But if there's a reader out there who is trying to make sure that, like, for instance, Carrie, you talked about 5-year plans. I've never heard any reader talk about 5-year plans.
Yeah.
And how to better yourself. And that's what resonated with me is, wait, I needed to hear your message when you were talking about things like the 5-year plan, things like, hey, get up off your booty and do the work. A lot of these tarot readers never even go that far as to tell people do the work, or even call them out in the collective, based on their question. That's one thing that, I definitely resonate is you are honest. You're honest with people. Because like those people that go, "Hey, am I pregnant?" Well, take a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
You know, like, why are you asking that in the chat? You know, like,
Yeah, I
come
know,
on,
right? I
you
guess
know.
I have a very low tolerance for nonsense. And
Uh huh.
again, I don't like to waste my gift on, things that could be dealt with in a very, very practical manner. I do very much believe that practicality within spirituality is absolutely fucking essential and necessary.
It's necessary,
It's necessary
exactly.
because as you do, you become ungrounded. You get off with the fucking fairies. You sit in Piscean energy like a fucking dreamer, actually getting nowhere in life. I think that that in particular though comes from the way that I am towards myself, Ralph. Like I'm very much,
Mm-hmm.
people can come to me and be like, "Oh, you do blah 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 blah," and I'll be the first one to go, "You know what? You're fucking right." Awareness, self awareness. You know, um, Self-awareness and not doing anything about it, you're an asshole, right? Because if you know you're a
Yeah.
certain type of way and you got no intentions to ever fix that and you're content being that way, then straight up you're an asshole, right? Someone like me, I know what my flaws are, I know what my faults are. I'm not fucking blind. You know what I mean? Like I can see. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
enough of myself in the mirror. I've had to take a long, hard look, and I'm not afraid to do it. I'll do it as many times as
Yeah.
I need to, especially from where I've come from. For those of you guys that know that I came straight up out of prison into my journey on YouTube, and I don't hide any of those those past versions of me. I had to look really really hard at myself in order to get from where I was to where I am now, and so I'll continue to do so. And I think that's because I'm that way with myself, that's just naturally how I am with other people. Like I think if I'm gonna be real with myself, then I'm gonna be real with everybody else, right? Like it's just how I am. If it was easy for me to maybe lie to myself, maybe I could be one of those people that sugarcoated shit. But I think the other thing is I don't. My intention was to never come up here and be famous or be popular or you know utilize any of my gifts simply for profits. Again, this what I do has to have meaning behind it, right? And it's very very
Mm-hmm.
important that if it has no meaning for me, then the reward, whether that's abundance, financial, whatever, it doesn't actually doesn't satisfy me. It's not satisfying. So I think even though it may not be popular, and I have done a lot of streams where you're right, I do get stuck into who I'm reading for. I don't sugarcoat shit because I don't feel like that's help. I've never felt like sugarcoating shit ever. It never helped me in my past, right? So why would I think that that's going to help anybody in their future? So I think that's just the approach that I like to take. And again, look, not everybody is okay with being their authentic self when it comes to being a reader as well. People have
Yeah.
this idea that being a reader, being a healer or a guide means that, you need to be passive or soft spoken or some of those things. And I think for me, it was really, really important to recognize and realize that however it is that I'm delivering things, to my viewers or to who I'm reading for, connecting to, who I'm guiding or coaching, that's exactly how they need to hear it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been guided to me in the first place.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the chats, anyone that's currently in the chats, have any questions that they have for Ralph or myself that you guys would like to ask? If you do, pop that in the chats below. So just so we know, Ralph. So as it now, how many channels do you currently mod for?
I think just yours.
Just mine? Yeah.
Yeah, cause no. This one person named Shara Kennedy, but I'm never on there anymore. But I do pop on from time to time. So I think in total 2.
Yep.
Because all the other ones, over time you just stop watching. There's a couple people that I messaged that, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. So I appreciate the opportunity, because a lot of those channels were literally it was feeding false hope. And I think that's what's frustrating, because out of all of the tarot channels that I've watched, out of all the readers that have asked questions, and some of them even paid questions, you've been the only one who actually can predict and give me the guidance that I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And whether it be, hey, you're going to be dealing with some challenges, you're going to be dealing with this, you're going to be dealing with that, so be it. Like, thank you for the heads up. And I remember there was this one time you called me and you were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, how the hell did you know? Like, that freaked me out.
I do that a lot to my friends or people, people that I'm close to or connected to.
Cool.
It's
you're
like I just know when the fuck to call, right? I just know when to call.
Yeah. Because you're like, it's almost like I felt something in the forest. Like there was a problem in the ether, and something just guided me to check in on you.
Yeah.
So that was a little creepy, but in a good way. It's like, hey, thanks for calling. I needed a friend for advice, and yeah, I appreciate you. But, out of all the readers, there's no one who's ever called. There's no one who's ever called and said, "Hey, are you okay?" After something bad happened.
It's still, even after, and this has been this has been something that I've done for years. Like I've just always known, right? I remember even once my own cousin got freaked out because I called her and I said to her, this was like 6 years ago. I called her and I said to her, you need a reading. She goes, what the hell? I said, I don't know. Spirit showed me a vision. And then they made me call you and they showed me the layout of the cards. At this point, this was like, this was before I'd had my rock bottom, by the way. This was when Spirit was first trying to, not force me. They were trying to show me that, my skills were actually better than what I actually knew at the time. So, it's happened a lot over the years where, I'll call a person and be like, I just needed to call you right now because something was just drawing me to, and usually someone's like, how did you know to call? Like something's wrong. So, and again, that always confirms, my intuition and my gifts, but it's still shit like that still freaks me out. Where I'm like, what the fuck? I was right about that. Or, I predict some shit and someone comes back and tells me and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like it still blows my mind.
Just like the other day when you're like, hey, you're going to have to man up, you're going to have to do this. And then all of a sudden it's like,
life changed,
I have to start, I have to start looking for, a secondary place. And yes, I have to like put my big boy pants on and, but everything is going to work out. And, I went from going on Facebook Marketplace and looking at rentals to, getting that phone call of, hey, you've been approved, everything's good, get your keys this weekend.
Yeah, and I think I remember I said to you, like, even though things aren't it's like everything's all good, but something it's just not quite working out the way that we thought it was going to go.
No, it's not on my timeline. It's on the universe's timeline, and it's like the universe played a funny trick and pressed the fast forward button.
It did, didn't it? I feel like that's what happened in my life too. It's just like, and I think that's probably why there was that, and for some of you guys, you might resonate with this as well, where things got really kind of quiet there for a minute. Everything was just quiet and stable, and you're just thinking, yeah, all good, like we're gonna, and then like next challenge comes in, but then it was just like boom, and time, I don't know, for me it feels like time is speeding up at the moment as well. Time feels like it's going really, really fast. Anything else that you'd like to say before we close up this live stream?
Just trust your gut. We have intuition, we all do, just trust it. If you have, friends that you can talk to, talk to them. Just don't bottle anything inside.
And for anybody that wants to know how somebody feels about them or if they're pregnant, what's your advice, Ralph?
Oh my goodness, just ask, and not ask a tarot reader. Like some of the questions, the common ones is, so there's this person at the office and I kind of like them, but I don't know if they're reckless eyeballing me, but I don't know. It's like, we're not in high school. Like, come on now, we're all adults. If you like someone, or if you find someone interesting, and obviously we're, especially guys are, they're physical creatures. Like we look at physical. Girls, admittedly, I'm pretty sure they're the same way too. It's like you see a handsome guy, you're like, how you doing? You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I don't necessarily think that that's what tarot should be used for. It could be, but I just don't think that, something as simple as, even DR was making jokes about that. It's like, we don't need to write down, hey, do you like me? And then put a little box, yes or no.
Yeah.
And then drop it on their desk, So to me, that's silly. To me, it's there's more to life than the what ifs. It's like, just do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you'll say someone will say no. You'll get rejected. Man, if you're in your 40s and you're still worried about rejection, you probably haven't been rejected enough in your 20s and 30s, right? Because by the time you hit 40, man, you're like, I don't give a fuck about it. Man, I don't care. I know there's other options, right? I know there's other avenues.
But at the same time, as a guy, and I see guys do this all the time, it's when they shoot their shot, just be a gentleman about it.
Yeah. Take rejection well. Take it gracefully, be graceful about it.
And not even just that, it's the approach.
Yeah.
Like my girlfriend, she's a beautiful girl, and
she is.
At one point, she was getting hit on, and she's telling me what these dudes are doing, and I'm like, oh Jesus, like, did their mama not teach them right? So boys, men, just be polite.
Yeah.
Be polite and take rejection like a man.
That's it. Maybe this is a topic for a whole nother stream. Hey, maybe one day I think that's another topic we'll touch on. Divine masculine. What does he expect? What does he like? What's he about? All right, and we'll do the same with divine feminine, and maybe give opposite sexes the inside scoop on what's the deal here. Ralph, thank you so much for your time today. To those of you guys in the chats, if you've watched this, thank you guys for all your likes, comments, your shares, your subscribes, any interactions or support that you show the channel. I'm very, very much appreciative of it. I may close up this stream and I may do some personals in a little bit. We'll see. I know it's getting pretty late over there and it gets a bit weird and wild as it gets later at night over there, but we'll see how we go. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and Ralph, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening, and keep on keeping on, homie.
All right, will do. Bye, guys.
Love you guys. Thanks, guys. Bye.